Hello, everybody. If you've gotten to this point, we're pretty much just after the evasive maneuvers. I was just doing a little experimentation on our auto maneuver, just seeing if that was working correctly, and it's semi-working, as we'll probably discover later. So there's a few things you're probably wondering. Like, now that we've separated, what do I do? Well, first, we gotta clean up some of our stuff. All this gotta go off. All right, attitude deadband to minimum, rate to low, translation control power off, rotation control power direct off. That's got to come all like that. Just verify everything else. We've got to take our external lighting off. Tunnel lights can come off at this time. Additionally, once we're in PTC, which will initiate soon, we can turn off the glycol evaporator. For the time being, we're going to initiate a charge. Now, about every day, you want to switch between charging battery A and charging battery B. Battery C should not be draining at all, but you want to switch between charging battery A and battery B about once per flight day. So we're going to start with a charge on battery A, just because A is first, it's listed first. So we'll start putting that battery on the charge. We can start up our waste stowage vent. So we can start doing our cabin purge. Additionally, if we check for alpha, we can see, oh, looks like our manifold pressure is a little high. So let's do a battery vent as well. If you have the CO2 scrubber thing enabled, every once in a while you'll need to replace these canisters, like so. Once a day, you'll also need to give your cryo tanks a stir, like so, for only a minute at a time. I don't think that fuel cell purging has been implemented into reentry, so you could skip that, but you'll need to do in real life, you'd need to do at least one O2 purge per day and at least one H2 purge every other day. And now, sort of the final housekeeping procedure here then is to initiate PTC. So we're going to go to crew members, requests refs mat, PTC refs mat. Oh, we gotta go to uplink telemetry, command module to accept, my bad. Request PTC refs mat. You can see comp activity light is on. In real life, we would see a whole ton of numbers going by the computer. Not here for some reason. And I think it's because erasable memory is not implemented. But now we can start up program 52. Speaking of program 52, you'll need to do once a day some star sighting. I'll make probably a separate tutorial for that. Verb 22, enter. And you can run +1, enter. Proceed. Here's our new angles, and proceed. We can quick do a GDC align. Again, GDC, GDC, last I checked, the manual align procedure was broken, so just flip this switch up to IMU, and then push and hold GDC align. That would not work in real life. However, it's since reentry is in beta, it's just a little quick bypass for that procedure while it's still a work in progress. And now we'll do verb 49. And then just insert plus 09000. Proceed. Make sure CMC auto. And proceed. And at this point, we'll be driving to our passive thermal cooling attitude. This is going to take a while, so we may want to just terminate the maneuver and do it ourselves. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go to yaw 0, roll 0, and pitch down to 90. Just for the purposes of speeding the tutorial up. There we go. And we can do our verb 49 here and just do an alignment check just to make sure that it'll drive to the right attitude. We could see it's doing a little bit of funny business with our roll here. If this ever happens to you, just go SCS back and then reinitialize this this here. And it should bring you to about 0. It's not going to be perfect. There's some issue with the roll angle, but the pitch and the yaw should always be about right. And you could check that with the 1620. You can see it's driving us to what it thinks is 0, but is actually 5 or 6. Here we've actually got 90, and yaw is 180. However, it's also 0, because that's funny how that works. Yeah, yaw is not supposed to be able to go around to 360, but it does in reentry, so 0 and 180 are absolutely correct yaw orientations for each other. And that does cause an issue that we might see later. So that's just another thing we may have to look out for. But here we can drive our pitch and yaw to Excel command. We can give ourselves a verb 79. And then proceed. And that's actually good. CMC auto and proceed. And that initiates passive thermal cooling. Now we'll do roll to Excel command, pitch and yaw to rate command, and then all auto RCS selectors off. And there's our PTC roll. So that's pretty much your housekeeping procedures. Every once in a while, in real life, you would do a sort of a secondary systems check. However, on the later missions, they stopped doing those until mission critical phases. And then your glycol evaporator, now that we are in PTC, steam pressure off, H2O flow off. And that should hold on just the radiators. And then if it were sleep mode, we would, stir our cryo tanks like we discussed before. Turn off the potable heater. Come down here. We would shut off the potable tank inlet as well, which should always be open. We would shut that off for sleep, and then go ahead and do our sleeping. Later missions will also take S-band voice to off. Oh, that is actually supposed to have an off function. I will need to make a note of that. But you should be able to turn this off. Normally they would for sleep on some of the later missions. And that's everything. I don't think wastewater is implemented. Nope. So you're good there. That's everything you'd need for sleep. So just remember our next day, so at, 24 hours or so, you're going to take off the battery, switch it around, check the battery manifold for venting. You're going to stop your PTC, do a P52, and then start your PTC, replace your canisters of O2, check everything like that. And so I'll make a follow-up for basically day 2 and 3 checks. We can move this switch back to block. Day 2 and 3 checks. But that's sort of our day 1 setting everything up. And we're in PTC. So hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.